Welcome to Everyday Explained. Today we're looking at the kitchen mistakes that cause far more trouble than people expect. From cross-contamination and unsafe food temperatures, to burns, knife injuries, grease fires, and overloaded work areas. More importantly, we'll cover simple habits that prevent them, why those habits work, and what to do when something starts going wrong. Let's make the kitchen safer without making cooking complicated. Kitchen safety starts before the burner ever turns on. Give yourself working space. Move grocery bags, paper towels, dishcloths, packaging, and unused appliances away from the stove. Then make sure the floor is dry and your main path is clear. It sounds basic, but clutter turns a small spill or hot pan into a bigger problem. A useful rule is simple. If you may need to move quickly while carrying something hot, clear that route before cooking begins. Set up ingredients before you start handling raw meat, poultry, seafood, or eggs. Open the trash bin, pull out the seasonings, and decide which utensils you'll need first. Otherwise, contaminated hands end up touching drawer handles, spice jars, refrigerator doors, and faucet controls. This is one of those kitchen habits that feels overly organized, until you realize it prevents you from spreading raw food juices across half the room. And don't rinse raw chicken, beef, pork, or other meat to make it cleaner. Running water can splash microorganisms from raw meat onto the sink, faucet, counter, nearby dishes, and food that may never be cooked. Proper cooking is what destroys harmful bacteria. If raw juices reach the sink or counter, clean the area with warm soapy water, then use an appropriate sanitizer according to its label on surfaces where it is approved. Cross-contamination is also why cutting board order matters. If possible, keep one board for raw meat, poultry, and seafood, and another for produce or ready-to-eat foods. If you only own one, prepare vegetables and other foods that won't be cooked first. Then wash the board thoroughly before raw meat touches it. Replace boards that develop deep grooves that are difficult to clean. Those cuts can trap residue and make proper cleaning harder. Hand washing has a timing problem people often miss. Washing before cooking is good, but the important moment is after touching raw meat, eggs, dirty packaging, garbage, or anything else that may contaminate your hands. Wash with soap and water before touching clean utensils or ready-to-eat food. And if you grab your phone midway through preparing raw chicken, treat the phone as contaminated until it has been appropriately cleaned too. Now look at your refrigerator as a safety device, not just a cold cabinet. Keep it at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, about 4 degrees Celsius, or colder. And use an inexpensive appliance thermometer, rather than trusting the numbered dial. Don't pack shelves so tightly that cold air cannot circulate. Store raw meat and poultry in sealed containers, or bags low in the refrigerator, where a leak is less likely to drip onto foods that are ready to eat. The counter is not a safe place to thaw frozen meat for hours. The outside can warm into a temperature range that supports rapid bacterial growth while the center is still frozen. Safer options are thawing in the refrigerator, in cold water, or in the microwave. Food thawed with cold water or a microwave should be cooked promptly. So, if you're planning dinner tomorrow, moving frozen meat into the refrigerator tonight is usually the easiest low-effort solution. Perishable food also has a clock. Refrigerate or freeze it within 2 hours of cooking or purchasing, and within 1 hour when the surrounding temperature is above 90 degrees Fahrenheit or about 32 degrees Celsius. Large pots of soup, chili, or stew cool more efficiently when divided into shallow containers. Waiting for a huge pot to become completely cold on the counter can leave food warm for too long. Smaller portions release heat much faster. Smell is useful for detecting spoilage, but it cannot certify that food is safe. Disease-causing microorganisms may be present without producing an obvious bad odor, strange taste, or visible change. When time or temperature history is uncertain, don't test questionable food with a bite. This is especially important after food has been left out, transported without adequate cooling, or stored during a power outage. When the safety history is unknown, guessing is not a control method. When cooking meat, color is another unreliable shortcut. A food thermometer gives you information your eyes cannot. Check the thickest part without touching bone. Poultry should reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 74 degrees Celsius. Ground meats should reach 160 Fahrenheit, about 71 Celsius. Whole cuts of beef, pork, veal, and lamb reach a safe minimum at 145 Fahrenheit, about 63 Celsius, followed by a 3-minute rest. A thermometer only helps if you use it correctly. Insert it into the thickest section. And for thin foods, approach from the side if that gives the sensing area better contact with the center. Check more than one location on large or irregular pieces. Between uses, clean the probe according to the manufacturer's directions. That extra 10 seconds is much more dependable than cutting repeatedly into dinner and trying to judge safety from color or clear juices. Microwaves create another common blind spot: uneven heating. Dense leftovers can be steaming at the edge and cool in the center. Cover food when appropriate. Stir or rotate it during reheating, and allow the recommended standing time so heat can continue moving through the food. Leftovers in casseroles should reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit, about 74 degrees Celsius. For thick portions, check more than one spot instead of trusting the hottest spoonful. Now to the stove, where attention is part of the safety equipment. Stay in the kitchen when frying, boiling, grilling, or broiling. If you must leave, turn the heat off. For longer simmering, baking, or roasting, remain nearby. Check the food regularly and use a timer. A timer is especially useful when cooking becomes background activity. People rarely intend to forget a pan. They answer a message, start another job, and simply lose track of time. Turn pot and pan handles inward so they cannot be bumped, snagged by clothing, or reached easily by a child. But don't rotate a handle over another active burner, where it can become dangerously hot. Keep towels, paper, wooden utensils, packaging, and loose clothing away from heating elements and flames. Another small habit worth adopting: before walking away after cooking, look at every control and deliberately confirm that each burner and the oven are off. Hot oil deserves its own routine. Heat it gradually, keep watching it, and never add wet food carelessly. Water on food turns rapidly to steam when it meets hot oil, which can throw droplets outward and cause burns. Pat foods reasonably dry before frying, and lower them in gently, rather than dropping them. Don't overfill the pan. If oil begins smoking unexpectedly, treat that as a warning. Reduce or turn off the heat, rather than waiting to see what happens next. If a small pan of oil catches fire, never pour water on it, and never carry the burning pan to the sink. If you can do so safely, turn off the burner and slide a properly fitting metal lid over the pan to cut off oxygen. Leave it covered until completely cool, because uncovering it too soon can allow the fire to restart. If the fire is spreading, you cannot safely control it, or you are unsure what to do. Get everyone out and call emergency services. Oven fires are handled differently. Turn off the heat and keep the oven door closed. Opening the door supplies oxygen and can allow flames or hot gases to escape into the room. The same principle applies to a microwave fire. Keep the door closed and disconnect power if that can be done safely. The larger lesson is important. Containing a small appliance fire is often safer than opening, moving, or carrying the appliance while it is burning. Knife safety is mostly about control. Use a sharp knife suited to the job, because a dull edge often requires more force and is more likely to slip. Stabilize the cutting board with a damp towel or non-slip mat underneath if it moves. Curl the fingertips of the guiding hand away from the blade, cut on a proper board, and slow down when food is round or unstable. If an onion, potato, or melon start rolling, create a flat surface before continuing. Never try to catch a falling knife. Step back and let it hit the floor. Carry a knife with the blade pointed downward and close to your side. And don't leave sharp knives hidden under soapy water, where someone can reach into the sink and find the blade by accident. When washing one by hand, keep it visible and handle it individually. These are simple habits, but they remove the surprise factor, and surprise is responsible for a lot of preventable kitchen injuries. Burn prevention also depends on understanding steam. A lid, microwave cover, pressure cooker, or food pouch can trap vapor hotter than you expect. Open lids and covers, away from your face and hands so steam escapes on the far side. Use dry oven mitts or pot holders. Wet fabric transfers heat much faster and can cause a burn. Before lifting a heavy roasting pan, know exactly where you're putting it. Searching for counter space while holding hot cookware is a bad time to improvise. Don't overlook small appliances. Inspect cords and plugs for cracking, fraying, looseness, or signs of overheating, and stop using damaged equipment. Keep cords away from hot burners and wet sink areas. Use high-powered cooking appliances according to the manufacturer's electrical instructions, rather than casually connecting them through any extension cord nearby. Empty toaster crumb trays regularly too. Accumulated crumbs are unnecessary fuel beside a heating element. Your exhaust hood is part of the safety system too. Grease gradually collects on filters and surrounding surfaces, reducing cleanliness and adding combustible residue above the stove. Inspect and clean the hood and filter on a schedule appropriate to how often you cook, following the manufacturer's instructions. Wipe grease from the stovetop before it builds into a sticky layer. Kitchens become safer when cleanup is preventive maintenance, not something saved for after a problem appears. Finally, build a 30-second shutdown routine. Put leftovers into appropriate containers. Refrigerate perishables promptly. Wipe up raw food drips. Check that burners in the oven are off. Move hot cookware somewhere stable, and return knives to safe storage. Then look at the floor for water or grease that could cause a slip. A routine works because it replaces memory with a sequence. After a busy meal, that matters more than most people realize. Thank you for watching Everyday Explained. The safest kitchen isn't the one with the most gadgets. It's the one where a few good habits happen automatically. Separate raw and ready-to-eat foods. Control time and temperature. Keep heat and combustibles apart. Use knives deliberately. And know what to do before a fire or spill becomes an emergency. One final thought. Set up the kitchen for the cook you are when you're rushed, not just when everything is going smoothly.